Welcome back, Outfinders. Hope everybody's having a terrific Thursday. We saw some pretty good price action yesterday after I got the live stream. Now, as we were kind of talking about yesterday, typically we get to this point in the day and we haven't seen much of anything as far as movement on the market. It kind of expects some, in that last 2 hours, last hour, last 30 minutes. And we got it yesterday. Last 40 minutes, I mean, the market just exploded higher. I'll take it from this bottom point right here. I mean, we went up about 2/3% in that last 40 minutes. So yeah, we had a pretty sharp move yesterday to end the day. Today, you can see we ain't doing anything. We're just kind of hanging out. Basically flat on the market on SPY. Qs, kind of. I mean, a little bit of a bearish tinge to it, but nothing crazy. Which, if you look at the difference between the Qs and SPY, especially in that rip yesterday afternoon, like SPY performed a lot better. RSP also performed a lot better. IWM did do pretty well yesterday. Actually ended up over 2% on the day. Nice little gap up today. Traded up bullish for the first half of the day. First couple hours. Past 2 hours look like it's been pulling back some from the daily highs. Okay. The DIA, nice gap up, kind of pulled back. Looks like it's trying to form a little basing action. So all the markets so far have a little bit of a different vibe to them. So it's not so much capital going into the market. There's capital moving between the market. So that's kind of how things are going today. Nice gap up here on the RSP. And the RSP, I mean, absolutely crushed in that last 40 minutes or so. They were up 0.6%. So yeah, the RSP did really well. Other than that, nice gap up here on the RSP as well today. But they haven't really moved too far from that kind of gap up. Gapped up about 0.25%. Kind of hanging out. Not doing too bad. Looking pretty good. Okay. The DIA kind of just hanging out there on the daily. All right, not doing too much. Yeah, the IWM. So having this little upper wick. I want to say it's probably through this zone, like solidly through the zone. Is because it actually held yesterday. It's going to hold again 2 days in a row. So what I'd be looking for now, especially if we get it tomorrow, and never mind, tomorrow the market is closed. So I was just noticing that. It's Good Friday. Totally forgot about that. So tomorrow, all right, PSA, market's closed tomorrow. There you go. So if we do see some early bearishness next week, it's probably just going to be on the IWM specifically here. Just expect it's going to be probably a dip buying opportunity because we've actually held up here. Back here at the beginning of March, we weren't really holding through. We had a nice little upper wick here, and then we gapped up, we traded higher, and we faded all the way back down. And we traded down then for several days after that. So this time it looks like we're probably going to be holding through here. So you're going to be dip buying on any kind of pullbacks. Probably anything all the way down to like 205, I'd imagine. So, yeah, not too bad move there on the Qs. Or that was the IW. Taking a look at the Qs. Yeah, I don't Qs, man, it's so tough because this is the area of the market, right, where it's been leading for so long, and it's lagging behind another day. Another day, it's just lagging behind. Even on up days, it's not up as much, and it's like we're in an era. We're not in an era. I'm not gonna say it's that long. We're just in a time period here where it's kind of just like a dash for trash is what they call it. So people are going to like the areas that haven't been performing, but it doesn't mean they're quality, but people just feel better and not chasing what has worked so much over the previous periods of time. So other than that, still, if you're going to see a really decent pullback here, you're probably going to want to see the Q, SPY, and the RSP all rolling over together. Maybe we do see it in a little bit next week, but I'm kind of tempted to say move this stop loss alert up to the bottom of yesterday, and I think that would probably be pretty smart to do that, because we've obviously clearly gotten the bounce off of the pullback that we got from last week's bounce. So yeah, I think it's pretty decent to go ahead and do that, and probably just move the stop loss alert up to maybe like 518 there on the SPY. On the Qs, I would say probably just underneath yesterday's a little lower wick there. Maybe around 441.50 or something like that. What was yesterday's low? Yesterday's official low was 441.93. So yeah, 441.50 or something, somewhere in there, just below yesterday's low. You know, something looking like that. Just get an alert. That way you can see like what's going on. Maybe the Qs get hit really kind of hard on the open one day, and it's like, okay, what's going on? SPY's not getting hit as bad. RSP's up. You know, you kind of make a judgment call, but yeah, I think it's a decent idea just to go ahead and move up the stop losses there. All right. Anyways, that's SPY's Qs looking good. SPY's looking good. Qs are okay. It's about the best way I can put it. All right, take a look at the VIX. Oh, VIX. Yeah, just kind of hanging out after that crush, that volatility crush we had last week. Yeah, other than that, VIX is probably just in an area where I would expect to see bullishness on the market. Dollar, nice little upper wick coming in here on the dollar. Kind of a reversal type day. Let's take a look at that 15. Oh, yeah, we had a nice run on the dollar this morning. Wow. All the way up to about 6 a.m. Eastern time, and then it came right back down. Interesting that it did that overnight. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if this is going to be an upper wick and it's going to be reversal, you definitely want to see it reverse. Then Monday, Tuesday of next week, make sure it does actually reverse. If not, it just could be a continuation. Start breaching through a level. Speaking of breaching through levels, GLD. This is why I say, man, just be bullish on any kind of pullbacks. Just dollars positive, and GLD and gold are still just rocking it out, man. I hit the stock for GC, not gold futures GC. Yeah, look at that move. Up 1 1/3% today. Nice. Gold looking good. It's going to continue. 10-year yield had a nice little breakdown day, little morning star reversal kind of over the previous 3 days. And then you get this upper wick today. Yields don't look particularly bullish really at all. See if they're trying to bounce off the bottom. They are trying to bounce off the bottom a little bit here. So yeah, they definitely rolled over this morning. Did we get important data this morning? We did get GDP growth rate, the final revision for Q4, so that's what this is. It came in at 3.4%. Forecast was calling for 3.2%. I believe this prior refers to Q3, which did come in at like 4.9%, so that makes sense. Was there anything else? Doesn't. It seems like just a lot of little update type stuff. Okay. All right. So that's a quick look at the yield. So a little bit of volatility around some of those yield numbers. However, long terms are look like they're probably going to continue lower, and the shorter terms, 2 years popping. 2 year doesn't actually look too bad here. It looks like the 2-year bonds yields look kind of bullish. They broke down pretty hard last Wednesday when the Fed had that talk, but it looks like it's kind of just forming a basing pattern here. So be interesting to see if 2-year leads yields higher as we go into next week. That'd be an interesting one. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're seeing the 10-2 inversion yield drop off a little bit. It does make sense. 2 years kind of strong. HYG kind of hanging out and hasn't really popped this high. over the past couple months. Still just kind of in it. I do think this probably will eventually break out of here. It's just kind of like slowly grinding, doing it, and then you'll probably get a strong move when it does it. LQD, just kind of hanging out. TLT, kind of just hanging out. And now TLT is getting pretty close to this downtrending line. 30 years not as close to its uptrending line. So, yeah, I'd be curious to see what happens here over the next couple of days with these bond prices on the TLT and then the yields. How will the TLT and the 30-year, how will these kind of interact here over the next couple of days? All right, so we don't really have a huge gap on the market, but it looks like a lot of the sectors moved pretty well on the open. Like, yeah, definitely on the open. It looks like tech kind of gapped down, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. So we got a lot of sector gaps, but the market is kind of like a neutral on the market. All right, anyways, energy's outperforming pretty good on the day. Wow, yeah, energy's doing pretty good. Forgot who mentioned that yesterday. Energy's looking pretty good. And then, dang it, I knew that was about to happen. Then real estate, utilities, financials, materials outperforming pretty good. Industrials and staples doing pretty good. Just slight outperformance there on the day. Underperformers, communications, industrials, tech, and discretionaries. All the risk on areas except for industrials. Underperforming on the day. Okay, let's take a look at intraday since we had a lot of sector gaps. So yeah, you can see energies actually got hit pretty hard on the open. So they had a pretty decent gap up. Energies have actually clawed all the way back to actually second best intraday performance there. Utilities is doing pretty good. And utilities was doing pretty good yesterday. So that's kind of an interesting one. Communications doing okay intraday. Materials, financials, and tech also outperforming. So outside of some gaps, I mean, tech, financials, communications not doing too bad. Healthcare, discretionaries, real estate, industrials, and staples all underperforming there. Okay. So that is how the day looks.